is my 13th year at camp, and I don't think I would miss it for anything. It's not every day you walk down the street and find someone else who has cystic fibrosis. And so therefore you're almost isolated in the real world. So when you come here, you're normal. You're not the oddball. The non-cystics are the oddballs. And just, you know, when you sit down to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner, everyone's popping their pills, and everyone's getting therapy at 7 o'clock in the morning. And you know, you're not under the stress and the strain of, well, I've got to hide this, or I've got to pretend that I'm not this, or anything like that. And camp has really opened me up to a lot of different perspectives, and it's helped me deal with a lot.
I know that my camper feels the same way. She's 9 years old, and she's told me that she loves camp because she can come here and she's normal. She's not the only one taking pills. Everyone else is, and people don't look at her like she's strange for taking 6 at once or whatever. And everyone's doing therapy and everything else. And that's an important issue for the campers.
And I can cough without somebody going, gee, you really need to stop smoking.
That's funny. My camper, we were doing this we did in Life Today, the little books. And you had one lesson, what do you like about yourself, what you dislike? And he wrote where he said, I like have to have, I have to know. And I thought he made a mistake. I went, like it? And I had to go, well, why do you like it? The only reason he likes it is because he gets to come here every year. And I was like, I hadn't even thought about it that way. It's kind of weird. But obviously it means something specific to the kids. So.
Well, I couldn't deal with it if it wasn't for camp.
Yeah, I
That's the only way I deal with my CF is right here, man. Camp is my place. Camp is where I'm at home. Camp to me is just a place where I can share my 13 years of experience that I've dealt with. I can share with my camper. I can share with everybody else. And that's, to me, is the best part about camp, is being able to share what I've learned, being able to learn from other people. And I mean, to me, I'm not as bad as a lot of other people, but I learned that I'm also not as healthy as a lot of other people. So that's where you learn from them, but you can also help the others learn that they can be like you, they can do anything they can as long as they try. If you try, there's nothing that can, I mean, it's the only thing you can do. I mean, trying is there's nothing that can stop you if you really try hard.
There's a different lifestyle, I think, here, in that there's more love and concern for what's going on around them. More concern for life, more concern for others. It's beautiful to see the kids, see that in the kids, not just in the thumpers. It's beautiful to see that in the kids where they're really young and they'll realize they did something that they shouldn't have done or something. And instead of having to be told, you know, go apologize for that. Say, oh gosh, I'm really sorry. The last thing I wanted to do was to hurt you.
Another thing that's really different about camp but is really neat is a lot of, well, with any child who is ill, but with CF I noticed when they have it, is they come from very sheltered families. And, you know, when they're at school, when they cough, everyone's like, are you okay, are you okay, are you okay? They come to camps, they're not special in a negative sort of way.
It's kind of difficult. I don't discuss things much, but there's one thing I do know that I almost regret about when I was younger and me having CF and not coming to camp. And that I regret because I see other kids now. I know how camp has influenced me the last 6 somewhat consecutive years I've come. And what I've realized is that I wouldn't say I've kept in my teenage years, but most importantly, I would have had a harder time adjusting to, let's say, college. And what I regret is that I let my fear when I was a kid, when I first came, interfere. Because, like I said earlier, my camper says the only thing he's glad about when he has CF is that he comes here. And then the reason is because he sees all these people. And he sees how much they can do and everything he's done, and it uplifts him. And I wish I would have saw that instead of being shy and sheltered like I was. And have to learn it later. So I really think that camp really has done that, even though it's for me a later period. But for a lot of kids, it starts off really young, and I think that's better to start off young than to start off halfway through your teenage when you're starting to really adjust life. And I think that's really important for all of us to grow.
Camp's just, I mean, it's just like, I mean, this group, it's just somewhere where you can just let your emotions be known. And everyone I mean, whether or not they've been here 2 days, I mean, they understand within the first 2 days what's going on. You get through them because you want to be together and you want to come back. You don't want to lose the experience. And 13 years straight's been a long time, and I plan on coming another 13 years if I can.
I wasn't sure what to expect coming in here, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. And I was a little nervous, but I think it was just because I was joining a bunch of people who had always been together for tons and tons and tons of years, and here I am coming in kind of as an outsider. It took me a couple days till I really felt into it, and by then I was getting my own personal water balloons tossed at me, and so I realized at that point that I was really accepted into, as you were talking about, a family really quickly. Another good thing I liked about camp is that I was able to talk about a lot of issues, dealing with a lot of different things in my life with CF. And I really needed to have this experience, especially right now, to be able to talk about a lot of issues with other CFers, with other non-CFers, about relationships, about family, about the disease, and about how it affects their lives. And it was a great chance to be able to talk about that, and it was also a great chance to be a part of a kid's life for a week and be there for him. And I feel like a family member here, and I don't want to leave this. I've just grown to love it so much.
Your family. No, I'm fine. No. I've said before that one of the things I really like about camp is I get to share some of the things I've been through with other people. And after thinking about that even more, that's a big part of it, but there is a second part to that. And that is getting the way I deal with things or the things I've experienced out of my system so they're not trapped up so much. And also to see if anybody else has dealt with things the same way. So it helps me get it off my chest. I get to share it with other people. I just don't see any other way I can possibly, or anywhere I could go where I could possibly help myself as much and at the same time give so much out to so many people at once, because I mean these rap sessions get pretty big. I mean this is very, very small. It's really gratifying, and at the same time it's really relieving. And I just, these are people who I love and I'm going to love for all my life. Even people who it's their first year. There is no substitute.
Coming to camp lets me remember those who I've lost, and that just helps me keep them in my heart longer and stronger.
And I'm going to get more specific. I first came to camp with my best friend with cystic fibrosis, and that year after camp, she went to the hospital and she never came out. And I never really dealt with it until I came here. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't have anybody to deal with it with. I've met so many people here that have become such good friends. And it just makes this week so much more special. People come from all over California, and you don't get to see these people that often. And you come here and you spend a week with them, not knowing if it's going to be the last week you spend with them. Just everybody here is so special. I just can't tell you.
There's a television show that I watch often, it's Cheers. I'm sure you've all heard of it, love it, know it. And there's the opening song for that show.
Norm!
I don't know the words to it exactly, but it basically just says, you know, you want to be somewhere where everybody knows your name and everybody feels the same. Well, 51 weeks out of the year, there's nobody around me who feels the same as I do. So coming to camp is almost like me being Norm or Cliff Clavin going into Cheers, you know, and there's an unspoken communication between everybody. You don't have to explain yourself all the time, and you don't have to hide things. You can just look at somebody and they automatically know how you feel. And it makes you feel relaxed and calm, and it doesn't make you feel like an outcast. And then there's such a common barrier that this, you know, we learn from the non-CFers and the non-CFers learn from us, and that's where we can learn about each other, you know, along with learning about ourselves. I don't know what I'd do without it.
It's just something indescribable. You can't explain the wall, as it's called, and that's the first time I've ever experienced that. And it's just chilling, because I'm on the other side now, because I have brought someone into it, and I can see what the other side feels, because they've gone from knowing nothing to knowing a whole bunch. And it's just amazing.
I feel so guilty because I feel like I've taken so much.
I know, I do too.
Because I've gotten so much out of this.
Can you imagine the amount,
So guys,
can you imagine the amount of love that we had if we had all this love together? Okay? If you, I mean, you can't put a number on that. It's amazing. There's, I mean,
can't quantify love.
oh, I know, and that's amazing to me. It's so amazing.
A lot of people learn a lot of things on how to deal with things here, how to cope with day-to-day things that pertain to people with cystic fibrosis. Some of the kids that come here, this is the only week out of the year that they can do this, that they can be quote-unquote normal. We do some things here called rap sessions. The rap sessions are semi-structured. We can talk about anything we want to. Get out any feelings, any emotions. Generally, per year, we probably go through about 4 or 5 rolls of toilet paper, trying to wipe the tears dry. A lot of issues come up, relationships with people with cystic fibrosis. The main issue that winds up being a tearjerker is death and dying. A lot of people put up a real front for the rest of the world because that's how they deal with cystic fibrosis. And this is the one time a year, and it's only for a week, that they get to let down their front and really be who they are. There's a big emphasis on the research end of cystic fibrosis to find a cure, find drugs that help, and that's very important. But without the drive that these kids get from camp, it's not going to do any good, because without the drive, you don't survive. It just doesn't happen. And I've gotten the drive from this camp for 14 years. It's what gives me drive to get me through the year. You know, I don't think every day of every minute, gotta make it to camp, gotta make it to camp.
but I learn so much from other people here that they teach me that the drive is worth it. You know, I didn't learn that anywhere else. I didn't learn it from a hospital. I didn't learn it from doctors or research companies. I learned it from my friends, and my friends I got here at camp.
Selfishly, I get so much out of it. I look at all these kids, I see their exuberance, I see their joy, I see them going a million miles an hour, I see them doing completely normal things, swimming and running around doing crafts, jumping up and down, staying up late, running around late at night, and it feels completely like any other normal camp. And then one of them will pull off to the side and start hacking and coughing. And just for a few seconds, you're reminded that, oh yeah, these guys all have a disease. But really, those are the only times that I am really made aware that there's anything different about these kids, because they're living such joyous, exuberant lives. And I believe, this is a personal belief, that everything happens for a reason, that God has a plan, and there's a good reason behind everything that goes on in the world. And I look at the joy and the love that these children bring into the world around them and the people around them. And I have to believe that what's happening here at camp and what's happening in general with this disease has to be a good thing. The disease is not a good thing, but what comes out of it and what is really brought into focus here at camp is truly a good thing. The love and the joy that is expressed here at camp. It's very hard to find anything like that anywhere else in the